The drums of war are beating in West Asia. The region is witnessing tensions unlike ever before. The Israeli army is continuing with the ground offensive in Gaza. There's no sight of the hostages being held by Hamas. Hezbollah is threatening to open a new front against Israel. Cross-border firing between Israel and Lebanon is increasing. In the Red Sea, the Houthis continue to be a menace. Despite airstrikes by the US and UK, the Houthis continue to launch attacks on commercial ships. And there is one state that's acting behind the scenes. A clerical regime that threatens the dominance of America and Israel. Because there's one thing common between Hamas, Hezbollah and the Houthis, and that is the Islamic Republic of Iran. Ever since the 1979 Islamic Revolution that swept through Iran, the nation has been run by a clergy which is supported by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. In its attempt to increase Shia influence in West Asia, Iran has established a large network of proxy armies. The proxies conduct operations on behalf of Tehran's wishes and support. This is part of the Shia Crescent. Iran wants to unite Shia Muslims in West Asia as part of its ideology. This starts with the Houthis of Yemen. There's of course Iran with over 95% Shia population. Iraq and Syria are also in the sphere of influence, where multiple proxy forces are managed by Iran. Then there's Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Iran's Shia influence is interconnected, an arch-like coverage giving it the name the Shia Crescent. Iran's influence and presence in these nations is massive. It comes in the form of emotional support, financial aid and weapons. And there is one particular Iranian unit that's responsible for managing the proxies. The Quds Force is one of the 5 branches of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. The Quds Force has at least 5,000 known combatants and hundreds of covert operatives. The special unit undertakes unconventional warfare, guerrilla warfare, military intelligence operations, and supports and manages Iran's non-state actors in the Shia Crescent. The Quds Force is the same group which was headed by General Qasem Soleimani, who was assassinated by an American drone strike in 2020. Apart from the Quds, Iran has a force to reckon with. In the Global Firepower Index, the Shia nation is in the top 15, and Iran's firepower bothers America and its allies. Iran has a total troop strength of over 1 million soldiers. Tehran has almost 2,000 tanks and 4,000 artillery units. The naval fleet has over 100 ships with 19 submarines. And Iran has almost 200 fighter jets, though most of them are decades old. But the biggest force multiplier are the long-range missiles. Iran has over 3,000 ballistic missiles, and their combined stockpile of cruise missiles and attack drones is almost double of that. Iran has invested heavily in long-range attack weapons, and they've begun using them at will. In the first month of 2024, Iran fired missiles into its neighbors multiple times. First, Iran struck the command center of Israel's spy agency Mossad in Iraq. Then, Iran fired a barrage of drones and missiles into Pakistan. The target was the Al-Adl militant group in Pakistan's Balochistan. And the most recent attack was on an American base in Iraq, which left a number of US military personnel injured. And Iran's justification for the preemptive strikes was national security.
Our focus is on the Iranian terrorists on Pakistani soil. Before this conversation, I discussed with my colleague, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, that we respect the integrity of Pakistan. We respect the integrity of Iraq, but we will not allow them to play with the security of our country.
Neither Iraq nor Pakistan took this lightly. In fact, Pakistan retaliated with strikes on Iran. However, within 2 days, the two countries negotiated a truce. As tensions continued to peak, Iran launched massive military drills with a warning to others.
This military power should serve as a deterrence. Our air defense is strong, and these exercises improved it. It should be a warning to the enemies of Iran: do not threaten our country.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden thinks that Iran is alienated in the region.
As you can see, Iran is not particularly well liked in the region. Yeah, and where that goes, we're working on now. I don't know where that goes.
America repeatedly warns Iran against arming its proxies. But even decades of economic blockade has not stopped them. Iran has worked on its nuclear program despite the sanctions. In fact, the sanctions have made Iran stronger. Their economy is independent and self-sufficient. Iran's military has adapted to the import blockade. They've made their own weapons and drones, and Iran is now even selling them. The biggest buyer and supporter is Russia. Russia's no-limits partner China toes the same line. Beijing fully supports Tehran. Iran has the support of two major nuclear powers, which is why the threats from America and Israel don't really intimidate them. From missiles and drone strikes to hijacking oil tankers, the Shia nation is acting out against all its threats. But these actions will only push Iran one step closer to the brink of war.